Warning, this video is going to offend you Petersonites out there, but it's made to show that your Lord and Saviour is not as infallible as you think he is. It's more than that Jordan Peterson masked simple ideas with overly complex language. It's that most of the time it's complete fucking gibberish.
Well, who says the world has an overpopulation problem? I don't buy that.
It seems 15,364 of the most prominent scientists from 184 countries say that, Jordan. And a further 1,700 of the world's leading scientists, including Nobel laureates, would say it does have an overpopulation problem. The Earth is finite. Its ability to absorb waste and destructive effluent is finite. Its ability to provide food and energy is finite. Its ability to provide for growing numbers of people is finite. And we are fast approaching many of Earth's limits. You can see the source in the video description, but it's the UK SUSA.
And, we only figured out that there was enough of us to cause trouble by about 1960. For Christ's sake, how long do you expect it to take us to figure out how to take care of a whole planet?
So in this clip, Jordan says that we've only known our numbers would be a problem since the 1960s when we were toxifying the oceans. Again, this is wrong. We've known since Paul Ehrlich in the 1960s with the population bomb, 1968, Margaret Sanger in the 20s, family planning advocate for Europe, Thomas Malthus in 1798 with the Malthusian trap, which means poor people staying in poverty if their population doesn't stop increasing, available resources, food and building developments will be outstripped by the population, and the Malthusian geometric, population increases geometrically, exponentially to multiply and not stop increasing. Food production increases arithmetically, meaning going up steadily but never as fast as the population. And we've known since Socrates and Plato in 400 BC when they proposed the steady state, where city officials control the population, what we today term as a stabilized population, not increasing or decreasing in numbers.
I'm pro-people, man.
What does that even fucking mean? That is not an argument. That statement literally means nothing. How about actually bringing up an opposition to certain crucial points, like the sixth mass extinction event triggered by us, and which may eventually cause us to become extinct because of it, or the fact that we have 7 billion people now, and might not even stabilize at 11 billion by 2050, but actually continue to precipitously rise even further beyond that, with most of that coming from the poorest, ill-educated countries. I mean, fuck me, Jordan, how many people do you want there to be? Will you not be happy until there's 100 billion of us stacked on top of each other and literally no space on Earth left? Can someone please tell me why Jordan Peterson is considered a prolific thinker? I'm sick of his pretentious pseudo-intellectual nonsense and the devotion that his cult-like fans give him. I agree with TJ Kirk's assessment of him that he's not saying anything new or different. His entire shtick essentially amounts to fix your posture, tidy your room and pull yourself up by the bootstraps, which any person who is pursuing any goal in life already knows. I'm not a goal-oriented person though, so I hardly do this. Goals are not for everyone and should only be pursued if the person thinks it's worth pursuing. Simple logic, really. I hate that he just labels anyone he disagrees with as a nihilist and postmodernist, particularist, but I do not speak for all atheists with that philosophical position, and this broad generalization because you do not understand reality is frustrating to me. If you want to be a religious theist, then that's fine, but don't try to rationalize something that cannot be rationalized. Something that is attempted to be rationalized without evidence, like theism, is just bullcrap. The only reason you're a theist is because you desperately wish there for it to be true, because you want your life to matter on a grand cosmic scale. If that's what gets you through, then that's also fine, but don't pretend there's any rational reason to believe it. I won't demonize you if you don't demonize me. And there are times where I waver, admittedly, and try to believe in a god just to get me through, but for the most part I'm an adamant atheist. I'm not going to say that any of that is rational. It's just an abstract concept with no explanation that is whatever you want it to be, really. And for the record, what's wrong with being a nihilist? Nothing. If anything, it makes life more enjoyable. What's the point of claiming that life has verifiable objective meaning when it doesn't? All meaning is just constructed, subjective, emotional interpretations and takes on turn of events. I think it's much easier to acknowledge the truth than to delude yourself. I try to apply myself to the principles of ataraxic pleasure, a philosophy started by Epicurus which has numerous deviations. I'm not going to say that anything I ever do means anything, because it doesn't. Jordan is as deep as a high school dropout who gets high all the time to question the nature of reality. Whoa bro, did you know that we're all just born to die? Whoa bro, did you know that we can't prove that either way whether we have free will or our actions are already determined? Whoa bro, did you know that the universe might not be real, and that the universe's conception makes no sense? He's not intelligent, he's just as clueless about everything as the rest of us are. The only difference is we don't pretend to know everything while he does. We are wiser than him by knowing that we know nothing. There's nothing wrong with being nihilist, by the way, if it is true that you can't prove objective meaning. So I actually think he might be slightly stupider than the rest of us because of believing in a God without evidence, and it just so happening to be the Judeo-Christian God, because he was born in America rather than some other country that has a different predominant belief system of SJW rhetoric he initially became famous for. See the campus video in 2016 where he is confronted with a transgender student demanding that he uses the proper pronouns to refer to them or it or whatever. His line of logic is indefensible. Jordan is the undisputed king of quackery.